Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Y'all drop a vortex in the chat if I can be heard. Y'all see the title, Book of Judgment, Part 8, Political Assassinations and the Governments of Man. Oh, Kirk, huh? Man, it's been real out in these fields. It's been real lately, boy. Y'all just spin a vortex up in the chat if y'all little brother can be heard. Y'all see what's up on the screen, From Darkness to Determination, a practical guide on conquering depression and trauma by yours truly, your little brother. Interested in it? The links are in the description box. Let's look. I see y'all in the building. Bishop X, FG Keys, y'all Daisy. Vortexy and mathematics in this video. You hear me? All praise to the great spirit, the almighty creator. What it always was, is, and ever shall be. We got Imam Maharya in the building. The word Imam Maharya. Love and light, everybody. We got Bina Biff Yahoo the Bina Biff Yahoo the Yashar El. My sister, what's the deal? Bina Biff Yahoo the Yashar El. Sister with the longest name in Israel. What is the skinny? What's the deal? Much love, my brother Justin. Buzz Lightyear is in the building. Vortexy and math. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. It's a little taste. Just a little taste. My fault. Yeah, or you can just type a vortex in there. Just type the word vortex. It's all good. Love and light. Let's go ahead and talk about this though. Y'all see the hashtag Charlie Kirk. Y'all see political assassinations, the governments of man, all that. We're gonna get some understanding today. You feel me? We're gonna get a little understanding, or a lot of it. We're gonna see what's what, man. Man, look, as always, may the creator be magnified and glorified. You feel me? Got a Cosmic crew in the building. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Y'all already know what Hoover's Lifestyles. Like, subscribe, and share. We in the building, man. We're gonna talk about a little taste today. Cause this right here has got the country and the world. I'm talking about, and people out here snotting and crying. People out here celebrating too. You know what I mean? There's a lot going down. And that lets you know, man, hey, you got a loose lip. We say, hey, you better put a collar on them. I know a lot of y'all so caught up in this whole illusion of freedom of speech. Look, let me tell you something. You're responsible for the words that come out your mouth. You are. Don't let America pump you up and thinking you can just run out here and say whatever you want without somebody coming to holler at you. No, you can't do that. You can't, man. Look, it's been people been getting killed and sniped for their views politically, for being outspoken. That's been going on since the beginning of time. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get some understanding on what it is and what it's gonna be. You know, but when you start seeing all these things, man, political assassinations, you know what I mean, all types of gun violence and murder and darkness and all that, just know the creator has summoned his angels away from this place. You see, that's why it's always important to stay on your job, man. Stay on point. You know what I mean? Put good out. Look for somebody to do some good for today or something. You got to constantly be on guard for living or about living to your highest light. You got to constantly be on guard with it. You know what I mean? So we're going to get some understanding for sure. But yeah, it's political. Definitely. Look, he ain't the first political person that has been assassinated or killed. Or America has a long history of killing his politicians. A long history on both sides of the aisle. You feel me? So don't let this whole freedom of speech thing, this illusion called freedom of speech, you know what I mean, get you out here and get you all messed up. Nah. You got to be circumspect about what come off your mouth. You just be out here loose living. Whether you on Wall Street or in these streets, you already know you can't just say whatever the hell you want without somebody coming to check your temperature. We all know this. We all know this. Let's look at some of this real quick. And again, I ain't, celebrating Charlie Kirk being smoked. Nah, I ain't. I don't speak evil on the dead. You dig? They dead. I don't. Where they at is where they at. You dig? But I for damn sure ain't snotting and crying over no Charlie Kirk. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I've never even heard of him before. I've never even heard of a Charlie Kirk until he got shot in Utah. Trump, send the National Guard and ICE to Utah, Colorado. Where else are these damn mall and school shootings been happening? Later for Memphis and Chicago and St. Louis, you need to send the National Guard to Utah. Yeah. Colorado. Because the same day Charlie got deleted, man, it was a mall shooting in Colorado. Yeah, y'all need to send the National Guard and ICE and all that. Send that around. Send that to every college campus. Send that to Utah, Colorado, all these places where all these mall shootings, these school shootings, these mass killings in public. Yeah. That's where you need to send the National Guard to. I ain't never in my life heard of a Charlie Kirk ever in life. Until the other day, they was like, oh my God, Charlie died. God Logic was on TV snotting. I'm like, why you act like you was best friends with him? Man, look, man. So we're going to get some understanding. Now, again, I ain't the type that I don't diss the dead. You know what I mean? I wasn't seal clapping that he got shot or whatever. What it did, though, it made me go back and start looking at some of his stuff he been putting out. So let me go look at this dude, man. See what he talking about. Yeah, he talk heavy. Look, they want you to believe he just was a stand-up white evangelical Christian that just loved everybody with soothing words. And nah, he wasn't none of that. Oh, Charlie wasn't none of that. You know what I mean? But hey, it's what it is. He stood on what it is. You know what I mean? That he had his strong convictions about. And, he got every right to do that. He got every right to have an opinion or whatever, wherever his opinion landed. I'm just saying we got every right not to care about his opinion. When I be on social media and I see somebody talking crazy, you know what I do? Keep scrolling. I don't even stop and even try to argue, man. Look. But once he got deleted, and I'm like, who the hell is Charlie Kirk? I'm asking everybody I be around, man, who the hell is Charlie Kirk? I've never heard of him. Right? So then I get looking up on YouTube. Let me see what he about. You know what I mean? Because let his comrades tell it he was just a white evangelical that loved everybody and wanted to, give hugs to every. No, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Y'all watch this.
Of course we pandered to blacks. They're in every TV commercial.
Now I'm going to take some time to share with some people some of my thoughts. These are the things that went racing through my mind when I found out that Charlie Kirk had met his demise.
Of course we pandered to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privilege.
He said we.
Of course we pandered to blacks. They're in every TV commercial.
That boy say, of course we pander the blacks. The blacks. Hold on. Y'all over here crying over this. He said, of course we pander the blacks. You're called the blacks now. Man, hold on, dog. Hold on, man. Hold on. See. Y'all over here snotting over this dude. Look, of course we pander the blacks. I guess that's a political classification now. The blacks. Okay. Watch on Charlie.
Now I'm going to take some time to share with some people some of my thoughts. These are the things that went racing through my mind.
Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial.
Now I'm going to take some time to share with some people some of my thoughts. These are the things that went racing through my mind when I found out that Charlie Kirk had met his demise.
Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privilege.
He said we pander to black people. You know, there are people that actually believe that America panders to black people. We're the last picked and first fired. The level of discrimination that black people are facing in this country is bar none the platinum edition. And this guy says, America panders to black people. Look what we do for them. We gave them affirmative action. Without even for a second admitting that the primary beneficiary of affirmative action were white women. And who do white women marry? White guys. So the white family were the primary beneficiaries of affirmative action. It's just facts.
Privileges to come into society. They come into every college on preferential with lower test scores. You can't ever say anything negative. You can lose your job.
He said you can't ever say anything negative to black people.
Man, hey man, do this sound like somebody you supposed to be snotting over? He said you niggas got lower test scores. You're in every commercial. You got more privileges. Of course we pander to the blacks. Man, I don't know what world y'all living in. Man, that is crazy, man. Y'all over here straight crying over this dude, man. You dig?
He means call them ninjas. That's what he means. That's what he means. He means call us the N-word. And for this, I'm getting all types of hate mail and people saying screw you and unsubscribing. For this guy who says, my people, no one can say anything bad about us? Really? I mean, it's okay to be a conservative. Be what you want to be, but live in reality. There were entire industries on shitting on black people. There was an entire movie scene that the whole thing was about exploiting black people. It was called black exploitation films. There's no Asian exploitation films. There's no white guy exploitation films. Just black people exploitation films. And this guy sits in front of these people and puts this out. See what I'm saying? And I think what it is since white Americans do not have a history we do, they just see it as an opinion. Before we go any further, let me let you know the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. That's because they're not really emotionally or physically connected to anything in the realm. Because for every... We'll be here all night. He says a lot of shit.
You have your entire life obliterated if you say something racist. And yet we have to hear about how racist...
Why do you have to say anything racist? You have your whole life obliterated. Really? No, obliterated would be what happened to that school or to the churches we were in or to our towns that your granddaddy blew up because we started making money of our own. That's obliterated. Mel Gibson not being able to make a new movie for a decade was not obliterated. He was still very rich. I mean, I don't understand. But I do understand. This is considered the war of words. Now, some things are just lies. And who's destroying them? And look, guys, you know what? I don't want to take too much time on each point, but I tell you, it's upsetting because black people do not have the ability to cancel you. If anybody's canceling you, it's other white people. Frankly, they're the ones with the buying power and the numbers to cancel you and the positions to cancel you. Black people can't cancel white people, and you know that. Any more than you can cancel black people who do black clubs. Why do you think most of my audience has changed? Because I learned the hard way. White people cancel Negroes quick. Get out of line, Negro. But we really don't have the ability to cancel white people. Not unless they're in our industry. There's not many industries we own that we can do that. We don't even own rap music. What could we cancel? How the hell can black people cancel white people? Let's keep going, man. Like I said, I'm sorry. I don't want to be here too long.
We are. How about you take responsibility for your own actions instead of blaming the white man?
Next on deck.
Yeah, we don't take responsibility for our actions. I mean, that's such a loaded thing to say. As if one black person who may not take responsibility for whatever they've done has anything to do with the entire group of people. And that, my friends, is patented. That's like textbook. That's like textbook racism. When you think, but that's not enough of a reason for me to say some things about him, is it? Oh, no. You know, frankly, guys, I didn't know I had that many people following me that like Charlie Kirk. It is eye-opening to see so many people were actually following me that were fans of this guy. I think he did me a favor. Let's keep going. He's got more to say.
With Tim Black.
We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. As we note in the piece, Kirk has previously described Kirk as a hero and a civil rights icon. It's true. I used to be wrong. What inspired Kirk to shift his view on MLK? Why does Kirk think that MLK is a bad guy? When Kirk says that MLK says, quote, one good thing he didn't believe, what does he mean by that? Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
Yeah, he thinks it's fine. He thinks black people don't deserve civil rights. Wow, I wonder why so many black people are crying for Charlie Kirk today. This is a guy that doesn't even think you should be able to sit where you want on a bus, dummy. Goofball. It's a guy who doesn't think you should be able to live wherever you want. Have voting rights. These are the things that the Civil Rights Act gave us. And he's saying it was a mistake to give you ninja civil rights. We're going to have some fun tonight, man. I got a lot of content on this. I might have to take this jacket off. It's going to get hot in here.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live when I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year. Crime, like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, that
nigga, boy, he say, nigga, I'm not putting my life in the hands of you niggas. Y'all some pilots. Man, y'all over here crying over this dude, man. Man, look, I wouldn't, of course, I'm not saying, you know, shit, celebrate and rejoice. I mean, shit, you got the right to say whatever you want to say. You know, you just look, don't be surprised when your temperature get checked. The days, I don't celebrate the dead enough, but I just, for the life of me, don't understand why people is crying over this dude. I understand his family and all that, but man, how was you one of us crying over him? Snotting and crying, lower lip fumbling. Huh? You know, you used to get that whooping back in the day, boy. That bottom lip get the fumbling. You snot, blow your nose, God Logic. Go blow your nose. It's okay. This boy God Logic was crying over this dude, man. Man, what is really going on? He say, look, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. If it's a black pilot, nah. No, he's not qualified. Dang. And this the cat that put your girl on, Candace Owens, who's highly controversial. I found out the other day Charlie Kirk is who put her on.
Be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question.
Tonight, man, I got a lot of content on this. I might have to take this jacket off. It's going to get hot in here.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live when I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year.
I'm like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified.
You know, to any young black person here or people that are not, or people that may need to hear this, you know, just because you say, hey, you got to hire some black people, does that mean you got to hire black people that aren't qualified? You know, there are some black people that are qualified. But see, America's so racist. If they had 10 people up there and they had 2 slots, they'd hire all white guys. Or if they had 5 slots, they could all be equally qualified, and you could still say, let's hire the white guy, he's a better fit. Or let's hire the white woman, she's a better fit. That's what discrimination is. So I'm not saying in all cases this is how it was done. I'm saying when people are trying to be diverse because they look in their office and they see they have no black people, and I'm a person who's worked for companies and looked around and been the only ninja in the room. How many white guys at workplaces where they were the only white person in the room? White ladies, when was the last time you worked somewhere in a professional setting and you were the only white woman or the only white person in the room? I've been there. Discrimination is real, whether Charlie Kirk or any of you jackasses want to believe it or not. And just because I was there doesn't mean I was unqualified. It just means maybe I got lucky to get in. But that does not mean I wasn't qualified. Racism is so serious and discrimination is so covert. You can be discriminated on and not even know it. No one's going to tell you why you didn't get called back. They looked up your address and figured you live from a black neighborhood. They looked at your last name and deduced you were black. Black. So if a company decides, hey, we want to hire some black people too, because all we keep hiring left to our own devices is white people, white people, white people, white people, maybe an Hispanic or two. That's not hiring down, dumbass. It doesn't have to be. It could just be hiring the person we normally wouldn't pick because they're the wrong color. But you can't even be honest and say you pick people that you feel like you'll be more comfortable with. You tend to pick people that look like you. You can't even be honest and say that. You have to say, if you get a black person, you don't know, they might not be qualified. You can look at their resume and see if they're qualified, goofy. Why can't you just look at the resume? If the resume, part of the studies that I've looked at show that even when we had the same qualifications, once you found out we were black, we didn't get hired. But that's what Charlie Kirk, that some of y'all have been bawling your eyes out over. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not even saying he means this shit. I'm saying he said it, and people thought he meant it. That's why he's been successful, because they brought it. I don't even know if it's true. I don't even know if it's true. I don't know if what's real or not real about him.
If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? Almost creates thought patterns that are not.
There are no moronic white women that you might think might be in a position because they're white women. and they're maybe married to the person who owns the company, or their cousin, or nephew, or a sister, daughter of someone in power, and nepotism. Nothing, never came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth. It was always the blacks. So it really bothers me. You know what, guys? I don't know how many of these people that I have still hanging around me, but let me tell you something. Honesty is really important. We could disagree, but at least be honest. You know things white people say about black people when black people ain't around. You've been white your whole life. Unless you got your skin bleached, you've been white. You know what they say. Why does Charlie Kirk get to pretend like he don't know what white people be saying and thinking and doing? See, it's all bullshit. You know, white people have barbershops and hair salons. They go fishing. They play golf. They talk. You really think he's that dumb you don't know that there are humongous stereotypes and anti-black bias all over this damn country? That's why I like the white guys that I do like, because they're honest. Can't stand, or I don't care as much for the ones that aren't. Let's keep going, Johnson. We have
Not
fun.
necessarily. No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
Charlie Kirk. Next on deck with Tim Black.
You are race obsessed. I am not race obsessed.
Like they're killing white people in the streets in South Africa. It's literally a mini white genocide. You see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? What percentage of young blacks have both a mom and a dad raising them? Blacks in America. Black women married the government and divorced the men. Why do blacks have a broken family? Why is it that Black America is one of the only populations, that and Native American populations, that have not been able to overcome such evil, horrors, and injustices? Blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
You talk about race more than the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Right. Are you guys sure I can't hold that against him? Really? That's just an opinion, huh?
The Tim Black Show stream.
Hey, that's the homie Tim Black. Y'all check him out. Like, subscribe, share. All that good stuff, man. Look, y'all think I'm lying. Look, I know sometimes y'all be like, man, Malaki joking. Look, I'm not joking. God Logic was lip fumbling over this dude. Crying. Blow your nose, God Logic. Blow your nose. You know I got receipts now.
For president, you're not, you have no political office. What you have done is you have transformed.
It's God. Some of y'all know this Negro, God Logic apologetic. Man, y'all, wait till y'all see this. This dude was crying over this dude. The video I just showed you, he was crying over this dude, man. I'm like, no, there's no way. Because you ain't cry over Tamir Rice. You ain't cry over Trayvon Martin or Mike Brown. You ain't cry over no Sandra Bland, God Logic. Huh? You ain't cry over the sister who was murdered by that jack when she was calling on the name Jesus in her kitchen. Called on the name Jesus, he killed her. You ain't crying over none of this. But as soon as good old Charlie Kirk died, who you don't even know, you ain't got no videos with him. He ain't your friend. Y'all not tweeting each other back and forth. You ain't even know Charlie Kirk. But you got crocodile tears for him. Crocodile tears. You ain't cried for the brothers and sisters that lost their life down there in South Carolina when Dylan Storm Roof walked up in there and deleted everybody alive. You ain't crying about that. You wasn't crying about historically when when that church got bombed down there in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. You won't drop no tears over none of that. You don't drop no tears over Black Wall Street. You don't drop no tears over the Red Summer, Rosewood. You ain't dropping tears about none of your people, right? Who all believe in Jesus. You ain't even dropping no tears over there. Nigga, you crying over Charlie Kirk. God Logic is an official cone. Sell out. The hell's you crying over him for? And you ain't even got those same tears and feelings ain't even reserved for your fellow Christians that look just like you. This sister was murked in her kitchen calling on Jesus. Did you cry? I don't remember when men got so soft. Like when did this happen? In the age of being a metrosexual. Everybody crying and boo-hoo. What is y'all crying for?
It's God, not you. It's God, not you.
Sorry guys about that. Sorry that I'm late. Obviously, you guys know what's going on. You guys know what's happening. And so I'm a little shook. Like I didn't even set my stream up until probably like 20, 30 minutes ago. Yeah. So everybody sees the news. Charlie was
Look, he's just so distraught. It's like, hold on, bro. You ain't dropped the turf for none of your people. George Floyd, none of them. You ain't did none of that. You know what I mean? What about the brother that got choked out in New York? Eric, what was his name? Eric Gardner. For selling a Lucy, a single square. I can't breathe. You ain't doing none of this and crying over none of it. And most of the people that I'm naming claim they believe in Jesus. They black Christians. No, you over here just hurt on the inside and come to find out y'all wasn't even friends. Nigga, you don't even know him.
unalived. He was shot. He died, leaving behind his wife and his 2 kids. It's tough, man. I was just saying here on TikTok, it's the same spirit, but different skin. That same spirit attacking the LGBT woke movement is that
same spirit, different skin. No, God Logic, you didn't get the memo. Tyler Robinson looked just like Charlie Kirk, like a nerd. And he was in a trans relationship. His roommate is a transgender. And his lover. He got shot by a transgender sympathizer that looked just like him. What do you mean different skin? Why you ain't tell Charlie, hey man, calm that inflammatory rhetoric down. You talking against us and the so-called trans community. You know somebody might check your temperature on that. I mean, come on.
Same spirit that's in Islam that wants to unalive and persecute the Christians and those who criticize Muhammad. You can't beat us. You can't refute us. So you got to try to kill us. That same spirit.
That's the same spirit of Islam. Ain't got nothing to do with this LGBTQ transgender supporter, sympathizer, who was in an active relationship with a transgender. Ain't got nothing to do with him shooting Charlie Kirk. That has nothing to do with Islam. God Logic. It has nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, Islam don't even accept transgenders.
Spirit that was in the Pharisees that delivered Jesus over to the Gentile Romans to have.
Hey man, is this dude trying to compare Charlie Kirk to Jesus? Who you know, Israelite community call you Hawashai or Yahshua, Yeshua, whatever. You dig? But hold on now. Is God logic comparing Charlie Kirk, who we just finished watching, who say your test scores ain't high enough? Huh? Who say if you see a black pilot, I gotta wonder if he's qualified. Huh?
Have him crucified. The same spirit in those Jews who had Stephen stoned and unalived, the same spirit in those who had James unalived, that same spirit that had Paul and the other apostles unalived.
Charlie Kirk wasn't assassinated for spreading the good news of Jeebus, God logic. You see, that's what I'm saying, boy. You all over the place. And you letting trip off this. You know who to debate. You better steer clear of the credit gang, boy. Yeah. Stick to debating to Zaryak and all of the Israelites who really ain't past kindergarten when it comes to these spiritual matters. But you just skipped across us, boy. We done lined you right on up. You're not even making sense. Charlie Kirk wasn't killed for spreading the good news or the gospel of Jeebus, God logic. Nah, no. Nah, player. No. For his inflammatory rhetoric. A transgender sympathizer. Boy! I heard that sucker ring off too, boy. I watched that video. Man, I'm like, dang. Huh?
It's that same spirit, just different skin. Different skin.
Not no different skin.
Wants to get rid of the believers, especially the ones that's making a difference, the ones that are out there in the front lines. And I can understand if you're in a, you know, under Roman occupation, I can understand you getting martyred like that. If you're, you know, within a Muslim country and you're out there preaching the gospel boldly and loud in front of the Kaaba or something, I got, you know, you're probably not gonna make it out of there. But you at a college campus in what is supposed to be known as the free country that promotes so-called free speech, and you get martyred at a college. Someone snipes you at a college. You're not running for president. You're not
in good old Utah. Yeah, so God logic. Tell your boy Donald Trump to send the National Guard, send ICE. Send all them to Utah, buddy. Yeah. Later for Chicago, Memphis, St. Louis, LA, New York. All that. No. Donald Trump, we have a serious problem with these so-called mass shootings in America. And they all tend to look like y'all. Yeah. We haven't probably didn't come to find out. A lot of these, the past 5 to 10 of these mass shootings been done by transgenders. Oh. Yeah, so you need to be sending the National Guard to all these major colleges. I mean, the National Guard and ICE. Now, you don't need to be on the streets of Chicago, St. Louis, Memphis, LA, none of that, messing with none of the black and brown brothers and sisters. We have a problem on our hands, Mr. President. We got a problem. Now, America has a gun issue, a gun problem, and it's mass shootings every year. Mass shootings. Malls get clapped up. Grocery stores get clapped up. Schools. Public places, public shootings, all of it. Yeah, you need to send the National Guard, since you want to curb crime. You need to start in-house first. You start in-house first. You dig? Watch this.
You have no political office. What you have done is you have transformed or helped transform and start this movement of free discussion and criticism, facts over feelings. and you get martyred at a college campus.
Last word out his mouth, y'all. Guess who he was talking about? He was talking about you. They asked him how many mass, this was the last line of questioning. How many mass shootings have there been in America in the past 10 years? Charlie Kirk responds, counting or not counting gang violence. Gang violence was the last words out of his mouth. And if he's saying gang violence, he talking about you, us. As soon as that word violence left his mouth, blah! And it wasn't done by a gang member. Nah. Oh man, I'm saying, and again, I don't rejoice over the dead. I'm saying, why are you snotting and crying over this dude? Huh? Why? None of y'all be dropping no tears over this dude. Not one. Not one.
That's different. That's how you know you're doing something right. One after the next, they come up, you invite them over, you set a mic up for them to step up. Any free person can sign up and step up and have the conversation, have the discussion. And that's what happens. You get martyred at a college campus, not for inciting violence, not for,
Yeah, but a man's words or a man's mouth calls for strokes. Read your Bible, God logic. You got to be circumspect about what come off your mouth. You can't just be out here loose lipping and think ain't no consequences behind it. Your deity ain't tell you that?
Starting up a movement against the government or something like that, you are criticizing certain social worldviews, speaking truth, waking up the masses, encouraging and inspiring a bunch of young people to also consider these ideas and think critically and not allow the popular social narrative to guide the way you think and move and live, but challenging these things. You get martyred at a college campus. So like I say to my ex-Muslim brothers and sisters who have come to Christ and, are persecuted and called all kind of things out of your name and, all that kind of stuff. It's the same for those who used to support the LGBT, movement and the trans movement, and they came out of that. And now those same people that they used to be friends with and support start reviling them and saying all kind of vile things and, harassing them. You guys are in good company. Charlie Kirk, you're in good company because Jesus said it. He already told us.
Hold on, man.
Said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Into man.
There you go, snotting. Blow your nose, God logic. Blow your nose. Man, I can't even understand this. I can't even understand this, man. Like, what? Y'all, he's really crying. Like he knew this dude. I challenge y'all to find the video where God Logic has cried over a Sandra Bland, a Tamir Rice, a Trayvon Martin, a Michael Brown, Eric Gardner. Find me the video where this Millie Mouth Negro has cried over any of your people, you dig, that was murdered. And look, most of these peoples was Christian folk. Huh? You don't even go back into the, even the history of the certain atrocities that have happened to your people. You know what I mean? Rosewood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, the Red Summer. Ahmaud Arbery, Ahmaud Arbery, Philando Castile. There's a lot of brothers and sisters that's been murdered out here, bro, that identify with biblical Jesus. And here you go, Charlie Kirk, who wasn't even out there preaching the good news of Jesus. He was out there flaming your people and all types of folks. His words boomerang back on him. Hey, he gets deleted, and you crying. You crying over him? Come on, man. This look weak. This looks soft. And again, I'm not saying to go celebrate the man death, but what is you niggas doing crying over him? Why? No, reserve your tears for what it is, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
Blow your nose.
I love you.
Love you too, sweetheart. Yeah. Still got to do this.
Go blow your nose, God Logic.
That's all to win, baby.
Yeah. Sure enough.
Straight crying.
It's weird because it's this is beautiful, Philippians 1:21, y'all. It could be any of us.
This dude, very bad.
It happened to Christ first. It happened to the apostles. It happened to the prophets.
Look, but they wasn't talking what Charlie Kirk was talking. Man, look, I'm telling you, boy. Look, stand on business, man. You know what I mean? And again, I ain't saying you go celebrate the man death or none of that. Dig? Even on that. But man, look, what is you over here crying for? Why? Why? You know what I mean? We're going to go to the first book of God. I spade God's word, should I say. The book of God's word, chapter 29, the end of it. Let's get into what's going on, man. You dig? Get some understanding about the spirit world, what's happening. You dig? What does this mean? Like, you know what I mean? You start seeing assassinations and riots and all that's going on. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be able to identify, okay, where we at? Where we at? You know what I mean? But yeah, man, your boy God Logic, man, was over here lip fumbling and crying over Charlie Kirk. Lip fumbling and crying over dude, man. You dig? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. And as you see what kind of rhetoric dude talk. He wasn't a friend of yours. You know what I mean? Charlie Kirk was trying to get the cat that put a knee on George Floyd's neck. Officer Chauvin, whatever his name is. Do you know him and Candace Owens is trying to get this man exonerated? The whole world saw George Floyd expire with your knee on his neck. The whole world saw it. The whole world saw it. Here he comes trying to get dude exonerated. What? Huh? So look, this is what it is right here. And this is about cursing the dead. You don't want to get into that. There's a thing called spirit retaliation. And you'll see a lot of the drill rappers go through this. All your little drill rappers, your FBG, Doug King, Vons, and little Nick Blicky, and all these little cat Julio, Folios, and man, look, what they be doing? They be dissing their ops, dissing the dead, pissing on everybody's grave. Huh? No, do not diss the dead. Let the dead be where they at, but do not diss them. You niggas shouldn't be you shouldn't be crying. You shouldn't be celebrating either. Don't celebrate the death of no one. You don't want to expose yourself like that. So you ain't supposed to be snotting and crying, but get away from celebrating too, because it's some things that happen spiritually. That can happen spiritually too. You open yourself up to some dark forces by celebrating the death of your op or your enemy, going to his grave site, pissing on his grave and all that. Do you know what you open yourself up to? Book of God's word, I speed, body blow. What is it? It's Zarathustra said, as they were angered and spiritually dumb while in their earthly lives, so do they even now cling to the earth. For which reason you shall sing anthems and pray for them 3 mornings at sunrise, 3 high noons, and 3 evenings at sunset. Do this also for all your kindred who die or who are slain from this time forward forever. Look at this. He let you know how you mourn your loved ones, the dead. Right? Let you know when to pray and sing anthems when they just died. 3 mornings, 3 high noons, and 3 evenings in a row. You dig? You're supposed to be praying and singing for your recently departed. Do this also for all your kindred who die or who are slain from this time forth forever. And you shall utter only words of love for the dead. For whoever utters curses for the dead, whoever utters curses for the dead brings drudges, demons upon himself. Zip your lip up. Don't be celebrating that either. Do not be celebrating the death of nobody that passed on, because what you don't want to do is open yourself up to be a host for dark forces. You dig? If y'all understand that, do not be dissing the dead. If y'all understand that, drop a 12,000 in the chat. Whoever utters curses for the dead brings demons upon himself. If you ain't trying to bring these demons or these drudges upon you, upon thou, then guess what? You did close your mouth about the dead, man. Right? If it's a loved one and all that, we'll sing and pray for 3 mornings, noons, and evenings, consecutive days, back to back. You know what I mean? If it's the enemy, zip it up. Zip it up, but do not curse them. You see, you open yourself right on up. You got niggas, I heard niggas celebrating it. Fuck and the hell with him. And man, look, don't be on that. Don't be on that. But you shouldn't be out here crying and snotting either. How about we all learn a lesson? Watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth. And look, you need to learn some empathy out here. Everybody is jacked up in some way, shape, form, or fashion. We can argue till we blue in the face about, issues affecting every race on this planet. You dig? That's why it's pointless to be over here arguing with folk about the governments of man and politics. And look, y'all, it ain't nothing but you chasing your tail. What you think you finna get out of just blowing your hot breath for 3-4 hours? Seldom do somebody's view change. You just trying to correct this thing where it's not meant to be corrected. Now, we supposed to be building the Creator's kingdom on earth. So in other words, we supposed to separate and build our own society. As cities increase, as inhabitants increase in cities, so does the crime go up. There's crime in every big city. You see what I'm saying? So now, if what you want to do, if you're looking for an oasis or a paradise, you got to go build it, Creator gang. You got to go build it, faithists. You got to go build that. You got to make the word. It's your job to make this earth a paradise. It ain't nobody else's. You see? But trying to get into politics and trying to correct the world or correct the government or correct what's we call ooze, you wasting your time. It's not for you to correct it. You're not even supposed to be taking no part in the governments of man. You know what I mean? Because that system is not about what the Creator's kingdom is about, that you supposed to be building. It ain't got nothing to do with it. Here you go voting and arguing with folk every day. about whether you a conservative or a liberal, or he's a pundit, or whatever the hell y'all, or he's a lobbyist, or he's an activist. Whatever the hell y'all come up with, whatever fancy title you twist your lips and put upon yourself, in the end, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. It ain't effective at all. Y'all just arguing. That's all you doing. No solution, though. Huh? And y'all, it's the same way. It don't matter. It don't matter if it's white folk, black folk, Chinese. Look, if it ain't based off the creator's blueprint, it's going to fall anyway. No matter what you out there doing. Whoever utters curses for the dead brings drudges upon himself. Y'all see that? So watch out. Watch your mouth. And look, we got a real life example in front of us. All you got to do is look at the career of all these major drill rappers and how they celebrate the death of their enemies. You understand? And how death come knocking at their door in a nanosecond. It boomerangs so quick. It boomerangs so quick. You know what I mean? And I noticed that, especially around about 5 years ago when the was it about 5, maybe about 3 years ago, or maybe 5, I forgot. But the brothers out of Chicago, the FBG crew and the King Von and Lil Durk and all, man, I'm telling you, when they killed that boy Duck on the in a very rich shopping area in Chicago, aired him out right there. All them cats was laughing and celebrating and the hell with him, and because he was on the same thing though. He was dropping songs and dissing all their enemies, all their loved ones. Death came for him. You dig? And then when they celebrated his death, death came for them. Vaughn was killed 2 months later in Atlanta. You dig? I'm like, man, I don't know if anybody peeping, boy, but look, the get back been crazy. The get back been crazy. The whole Young Dolph situation in Memphis and dealing with Yo Gotti and them, the get back been crazy. You know what I mean? Because there's a such thing as spirit retaliation. Watch your mouth. All right? In your love and forgiveness, you raise them out of the torments of hell. Look at that. And because you raise up others, so does the Creator raise up your own souls. Man, look at that. See? You don't be celebrating the death of anyone. Look at that. Then someone asked, how long the spirit lingered about? To which Zarathustra said, some for 3 days, some for a year, some for 100 years, and some for 1,000 years, until they have wisdom and strength to get away. Other than that, you a wandering spirit. This turns into a prison for you. But after 3 days, you shall no longer desire the spirit of the dead to remain with you, among your loved ones, right? Rather, you shall say to Ormaz, which means the master light, deal with him and with us in your own way, O Father. We are content. You see that? See that? It's all practical. It is better for the spirits that you do not call them back from the higher heavens down to the earth. It is better for you that you remember them high up in paradise. For these thoughts will enable you to rise after you are dead. Bag drop, boy. Huh? Bag drop, boy. You see where you're supposed to keep your mind at? Resurrection. Light. Creator. Huh? Deal with him and with us in your own way, O Father. We are content. It is better for the spirits that you do not call them back from the higher heavens. Down to the earth. It is better for you that you remember them high up in where? Paradise. For these thoughts will enable you to rise after you are dead. Good night, boy. Never heard nothing like this. Look at this. Look at this. That's something to remember, especially if there's any young brothers and sisters listening. Remember, you get back what you put out. You get back what you put out. A lot of the extra stuff, look, you need to get off that. You're going to get back exactly what you put out. And that's what's coming. All right, look at this. It says, remember that all light answers everything in heaven and earth after its own manner. If you kill, you are answered in torment sooner or later. The cat that killed little Charlie Kirk, he owe that back to the board. You got to answer for that. Huh? You got to answer for it. It's just what it is. Remember that all light answers everything in heaven and earth after its own manner. If you kill, you are answered in torment sooner or later. If you utter falsehood, if you are a liar, you are answered in lies, falsehood. If you curse, you will be cursed in return. Huh? If you hate, you will be hated. If you seclude yourselves, you will be excluded. If you keep evil company in this world, you will be bound in evil company in heaven. If you seek to become a leader of men, remember that they whom you rule over will be your burden in heaven. If you do not teach, you should not be taught. If you do not lift others up, none will lift you up. For in all things, the same rule applies, in heaven as on earth. For what is it? What is it, Malachi? For it, or heaven, is a continuation in spirit of that which is practiced in the flesh. Good night. If you're getting some understanding, y'all drop a 12,000 in the chat. It's your little brother. You dig? It's your little brother. Look, if that's what you own, you get answered back. Whatever you put out is what you get back. Get it back. Charlie Kirk, what was he putting out? What did he get back? You know what I mean? So if anything, it's something for us to learn from. Right? Don't diss the dead, but you definitely shouldn't be over snotty. It'd be different if he was out there, you know, doing what you call the work. And he over here he got inflammatory rhetoric. That's it. All right, let me grab some water real quick, y'all. Y'all already know what time it is. CGG. Still cooking. Let's work. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. I see y'all in the building. Shout out to my sister, lovely Queen is in the building. That's Bezel Mom. Salute my sister. Love and light. We got my brother Dreadful Cosmon, Negu Thustra, Mucus Mouthing in the building. We got our sister Misha. What up, Misha? Gang in this deal. Katora, got Katora, Candy Cuz in the building. What's up, Candy? What's the deal? You got my brother Daryl Cosmon. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. I think I seen C-Live in there earlier too. C-Live Shalom. Y'all go like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, man. Let's get into this. Let's get into this judgment, chapter 34. Notice we dealing with the governments of man. Right? We're dealing with political assassinations. It's going down. It's popping. It's popping in the earth. But it's like, which God is behind all this though? You gonna say Jesus is behind it? Did Jesus take out Charlie Kirk? What if the shooter of Charlie Kirk identifies as a good old Christian? Or is this Jeebus taking out Jeebus? Like, well, how is this working out? Now watch this. Let's get into this. Let's get to understanding. You know what I mean? I'm telling y'all, man, look, the game, we got a lot to offer. We got a lot to offer, man. I be sitting and listening to certain circles that's supposed to be so influential, and you dig? And y'all, when I tell y'all, it don't be no light at all. It be all basic. It be like, dang, feel me? I'm talking about beyond basic. Like, y'all think this is light over here? Like, boy, come on over and get with the gang, boy. We make it make sense for you. Chapter 34, Book of Judgment. God judges the governments of man. God said, when a man has young children, he makes just laws in order to teach them discretion, justice, harmony, and consideration in regard to one another. But when his children attain to be men and women, man no longer holds a law over them, for they have become his equals as brothers and sisters. Yeah, once some little jokers get of age, man, basically that's what they are to you. They ain't up under your authority anymore. You would hope that the way you trained them that they would follow that path and all that, but if they choose not to, you know what I mean, they're not up under your dominion or rule anymore. Right? Your children become your brothers and sisters once they get of age, basically. You know what I mean? Look at this. Similarly, in the ancient times, I had provided you, old man, with governments and laws for different nations and peoples. Nevertheless, I said to you, look at this. Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump. Look. Nevertheless, I said to you, let your government be like a father over the people, and not as a separate matter against them. And that's what you have in all the governments across this world, including the good old United Snakes of America. The government is a separate matter from the people. You dig? The people and the governing body supposed to be one. Supposed to be one. That your government be like a father over the people and not as a separate matter against them. Look at this. Look at this. All your republics, all your democracies, hell, even the communism you know today, man, all of it's off. All of it's off. You dig? Look at this. But you have disobeyed my commandments. Your government is as one thing and your people as another thing. That which should be one entity you have made into what? Two. There's a difference between the people and the government that's supposed to be officiating. Like the government is actually supposed to be working for the people. You dig? That is not the case, sir. All you got to do is do a little bit of studying. You'll see exactly what it is. Hell, if you ain't did no studying, just live life, you understand. Nah, this is something different. This is something different. Look at this. Look at this. Your government has become a separate self from the people. And the people are like slaves, servants, supporting the lawmakers, Congress, House of Representatives, who trade in projects and schemes. Is that the word scheme? Is that scheme, Malachi? Look, schemes for their own profit and glory. See, this is just one government that you're trying to save, that the creator's letting it be known, like, look, it ain't part of my program anyway. It ain't part of my program anyway. That deal said schemes. So the people are servants to the lawmakers. Since the earliest days, all the governments of man have drifted into this. When a government no longer feels the grade, meaning, you know what I mean, the morale is at an all-time low. Morality. When a government no longer feels the grade according to the advancement of the people, behold, your God withdraws his heavenly protection from that government, and the people run immediately into anarchy. Look at that. What you see happening. About to be a civil war in the streets of America, man. Civil war. But that's because your government no longer has a sufficient grade, you know what I mean, that will keep the angels of the creator, you dig, surrounding this place. Yeah. The government no longer feels the grade. You're flunking. Yeah. You don't have a sufficient grade to pass. Your GPA is low. And you go, good old great United States of America. You talking about with that low ass grade? With them standing armies and nuclear weapons? Man, these niggas is below the grades. Man, you all, you click your heels and get a stiff back and salute and about ready to blow your drawers out over a soldier walking through the airport. Do y'all know these niggas is below the grades? Kindergarten. When a government no longer feels the grade, meaning the government as a whole is flunking in the eyes of the creator. They don't have a good grade at all. You're not going to pass like this. You're not going to pass like this. You know what I mean? When a government no longer feels the grade according to the advancement of the people, behold, your God withdraws his heavenly protection from that government, and the people run immediately into anarchy. Y'all see that? Look at that. See, there's heavenly protection around these nations. But when morale is at an all-time low, morale is at an all-time low, and there's all type of darkness going on, the heavenly protection is withdrawn. You know what I mean? From that nation. Good night. Look at this. Now look at this. Let me show you how ice cold this Owaspy is, man. Don't start playing on me now, man. All right, there you go. I'm finna say. Look at this. Verse 9. Look at this. Here we go. Look what it say. It say, do not lay the blame of anarchy, revolution, and assassinations. Look at, Charlie Kirk was just assassinated, right? That deal say, do not lay the blame of anarchy, revolution, and assassinations on the people. My judgment is against the government in all cases. My judgment is against the government in all cases. My judgment is against the government. Charlie Kirk's assassination ain't even blamed on the people. Oh, Tyler Robson, it's on the government in every case. Good night. It's a government issue that you over here trying to vote to save. Do not lay the blame of anarchy, revolution, assassinations on the people. My judgment is against the government in all cases. These conditions, look at this. These conditions of vengeance are only the fruit resulting from the government's divergence from the will of the creator and the march of his light. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is only the fruit resulting from the government's divergence from the will of the creator. So no, Charlie Kirk was not out there teaching nothing about the creator. You understand? These conditions of vengeance are only the fruit resulting from the government's divergence from the will of the creator and the march of his light. Don't forget, they tried to blow Donald Trump head off his shoulders last summer. Twice. Twice. Try to remove his head from off his shoulders. If you understand that revolution, anarchy, and assassinations are only the fruit resulting from the government's divergence from the will of the creator, and the blame ain't on the people, it's on the government. If you understand that, drop a 3,000 in the chat for the Arc Cycle of Cosmon. Malaki, your brother, ain't making none of this up. Ain't making none of it up. Yeah, your government is one thing and the people is another. Your government are tyrants. People aren't advancing. People aren't getting better morally. Morale is at an all-time low. Guns at an all-time high. Murder is at an all-time high. Death, weapons of death, bloodshed, senseless crimes. It was a Serbian or Ukrainian woman who just was stabbed to death on a train, I think in New York, by a so-called black man. Stabbed her like 14 times. What the hell is wrong with him? You see? When you start seeing this type of behavior, the heavenly protection of the creator has been removed from this place. So if we want to keep the angel ambassadors of the creator around us, y'all, we need to be focused on coming together and doing the most good we can for each other and whoever. That's how you keep the angels, the heavenly protection surrounding you. Real spill. I'm going to read this one more time. Do not lay the blame of anarchy, revolution, and assassinations on the people. My judgment is against the government in all cases. These conditions of vengeance, like the assassination of Charlie Kirk, are only the fruit resulting from the government's divergence from the will of Jehovah and the march of his light. That's why. Look at this. Look at this. I think it's a game, boy. I'm telling you, man, look, we got the blueprint. All we got to do is put it into action. You dig? And that's what I'm on. Like, I can care less about voting and trying to get into politics and try to change something politically through votes. Man, look, the hell with all that. If you ain't talking about building your own society with those of like minds, then you really wasting your time. The cities are going to get worse and worse. And when I say the cities, I'm talking about the entire metropolitan area, cities, counties, suburbs, wherever. Where the world people dwell at. I think it's a game. Look at this. Folks be mad. Look at it. For example, as the offspring of inharmonious parents, or parents wrapped up in selfishness, are lower in grade than their parents or predecessors. Even so do the subjects of a king, the servants of a king, decline in grade in proportion to the prevention of freedom, liberty, and the neglect of general instruction. So if you're a government that's withholding education back, if you're a government that's holding back the development of the people's talents, you are a government that's into bondage and, there's no progression going on. Guess what? Not only is the king or the parent declining in grade, so are the children or the subjects declining in grade. I remember it's all school. It's just like school. That's why you go to school and get your grades and all that so you can graduate or resurrect. Look at this verse 11. Judgment is rendered against Government where judgment is rendered against government where it does not provide liberty, freedom to the people. And where it neglects provide means for the development of the talents created withal. You see? So not only is the creator against bondage or slavery, systems have to be in place to develop the talents of the people so that the people up under your quote unquote dominion progress. You're supposed to be advancing. You're not supposed to be going backwards to the Stone Age. You're supposed to be advancing. Getting better, meaning the generation behind us is supposed to surpass us, not be lower in grade than us. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. In those respects, oh man, governments are measured and graded by your God. And whenever a government sets itself up to enforce and strengthen itself by violence against justice for the multitude, behold, I turn away from that government and I call away my lords and holy angels. Look at that. Look, America has a long track record of violence and bloodshed, man. You dig? Not only against other nations, but against its own people, against those that live up under its dominion. That's what you got a whole executive branch of your government for. The executive branch enforces the rules that the legislative branch draw up. And then the judicial branch passes out adjudication, judgments on it. You see? It says that whenever a government sets itself up to enforce and strengthen itself by violence, by violence against justice for the multitude, put ICE on the streets, send the National Guard to Chicago and Memphis and St. Louis, exonerate the cops that killed that woman even though she was calling on Jesus in her kitchen. I turn away from that government. And it ain't just the United States, it's just where you at. It sounds so familiar, but y'all, this apply to all the governments across this earth. The Creator's kingdom will be established in this earth. You dig? All your dominions is gonna crumble. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. Look at this. He said again, and behold, I turn away from that government and I call away my lords and holy angels. And with that, drudges, demons come upon those people. And the people do what? What do the people do, Malachi? The people fall upon their government and what? Destroy it. You remember Donald Trump, January 6, 2020? Him and his Proud Boys, nigga, rushed the state capitol. Or rushed the Capitol. They didn't rush the White House. What they rushed? They rushed Capitol Hill. Where they up there drawing up the laws and all that. They rushed Capitol Hill to destroy the government. Y'all, it's safe to say the Creator's protection, lords and holy, have been withdrawn from this place. You dig? You want to be up under that protection, up under that light, you need to come get with the program, man. You know, because outside of this, look, it's all bad. And it may not seem like that right now because you may be in a position to where you ain't got to really look at this thing in its face. But trust me, it's coming. You're going to have to deal with it. Look at this. Look at this. This is easy money. Easy money. Look what it says. It says, if a government is a king only and he has no holy council, then the responsibility of the shortness is wholly his. You're a king without a parliament, without a council, then the shortness of your subjects is all on you, player. Whether they're declining in grade or raising. Want to be a king, right? Want to be a leader of men, right? But if the king has a holy council, then the responsibility for shortness lies partly with the king and partly with the council. Judgment is rendered against them, not only in this world, but in the spirit world, the S world. You see that? And each and every member of such a council shall be bound in the first resurrection. Bound in the first resurrection. I heard that. Yeah. So that's for all your lawmakers. Oh, he's a senator. He's a senator. He has constituents. He's a lobbyist. He's a congressman. She's in the House of Representatives. And each and every member, judgment is rendered against them. Who? Malaki, your president, Congress, the whore queen or the king of England right now, and Parliament. Judgment is rendered against them, not only in this world, but in the S world, the spirit world, and each and every member of such a council shall be bound in the first resurrection. Bound, meaning you a wandering spirit. You ain't raised up past your nostrils. There y'all go seal clapping for the lawmakers and know the laws. And man, do y'all understand that a lot of these people enter the spirit world, look, no higher than the 3rd grade. All your entertainers you paying big time money to, all your doctors and your lawyers and your, all your groovy gurus. And listen to me, y'all. Like they not even. It's not even close. It's not. It's not. These niggas is wondering. They entertaining wandering spirits, drudges, and if they are drudges, that means they're below the grades. They not even in the 1st grade, kindergarten. And each and every member of such a council shall be bound in the first resurrection until he has made a correction, amends to all his people. Good night, boy. You know how big the dominion is of some of these countries and kingdoms? Until he has corrected or made amends to all his people for the shortness he manifested on the earth. Hear the wisdom of your God, O man, and consider the way of righteousness in the governments of mortals. Look at this. Look at this. The nearer the two are to being one, that is, the government and the people, the nearer they are like my heavenly kingdoms. You see, the Creator's kingdoms ain't a democracy or a republic or it's a communist state or even a dictatorship. There ain't none of that. You see, knows what it say. The nearer the two are to being one, that is, the government and the people, the nearer they are like my heavenly kingdoms. So look around the earth and examine all the governments, get into their rulers, and get into their laws, and you dig, and get into, the condition of the people. You dig, and ask yourself, is this government and the people that are subjects to the government, are they on the path of becoming one? Or is one deploying his jackboot thugs to stomp out the other, causing anarchy and revolution to rise up? Because if you bang on them long enough, they gonna hit back. Notice, the nearer the two are to being one, that is, the government and the people, the nearer they are like my heavenly kingdoms. The more alienated the government is from the people, the more alienated the government is from the people, the further it is from the kingdom of your God. Good night. And you know good and well, this government that we in, ain't nowhere close to becoming one with the people that it rules over. So that means America, and it ain't just America, but because we hurt, that means the United States of America is far away from the Creator's kingdoms. Not close, not near, far. The more alienated the government is from the people, that's this case, the further it is from the kingdom of your God. Good night, boy. Good night. Good night, boy. Now look at this. Good night, boy. Tell you what, it's a wasp be ice cold. And it's cats still scared. They act like they gonna start reading it and they head gonna start spinning around. That ain't the case, man. Get you some, look, catch up. Get you some understanding. All right. Let this be a guide to you, old man, in prophesying the change and the overthrow of governments. According to the square of the distance a government is from the creator, which is righteousness, so is accelerated the pace of its coming change or destruction. It all depends on how close you are to the creator or how far you are. Or what determines if we're close or far, Malachi? If the government and the people are one. If the government and people are on a path to becoming one, and not on a path of being one being a tyrant, the other one being ruled over and abused. That type of government is far away from the creator's kingdoms. The one that's about it, liberty and advancement and morality is up and developing the talents and all that of its quote unquote subjects. You understand? Without, any type of bondage. It's all about liberty, life, love, and happiness to all, without the sacrifice of bloodshed of any, without the forced worship of any, then that government is on the right path. But as you see, look around the earth, you don't see none of that. Nowhere. Nowhere. You don't see none of that. Wait, look at this right here. You think we playing? Do not think these matters are governed by chance or accident. The creator Jehovah's perfect righteousness, the all everlasting. This ain't haphazard. This ain't no coinky dink. The all everlasting. Whew. Man, how you even gonna argue against that? Well, who you talking about, Malachi? The all everlasting. What you gonna say? Well, no, he's not the all and he's not everlasting. You can't even argue against what the gang be bringing out, man. You can't argue with that. I'm saying creators are powerful. What you gonna say? No, he ain't. No, he ain't. He weak in certain places. Like, you can't even argue against what we saying because deep down you agree. Like, yeah. Look at this. He is all one. For a people and their government to attain to be all one with each other, this is great strength, with a long existence and internal peace. You shall also consider this, O man, all governments are tending toward oneness with one another. This is the march of the creator. None can stop him. That's why y'all hear me say all the time, look, even those that fancy themselves as our enemies going to be over here one day. None can stop the march of the creator's light. None. None. In the end, all y'all going to be getting down. You know what I mean? All y'all going to be like, yeah, all praise to the great spirit, the creator. Not informing figure of a man. Ever present. All powerful. All knowledge. Everywhere. And ain't nobody seen him. Man, that's cold. All powerful, all knowledge, fills all space and place. But there ain't a man or a high-raised angel that has seen him. Man, that's cold. He everywhere but nowhere. Far but near. You can't make this type stuff up, man. None can stop him. Consider then what wisdom is between governments to make themselves reciprocal toward one another. Yeah, so the governments of man supposed to be working with each other, man. You see? A government that sets itself up. A government that sets itself up for itself and against other governments is a selfish government. So just gauge where you at. A government that sets itself up for itself and against other governments is a selfish government. And your God rates it the same as a selfish man being disparate from the creator and his kingdoms, being distant, incongruent, discordant, divergent. Huh? A selfish government is greater just like a selfish man. You ain't nowhere close to the creator's kingdom if you're selfish. Huh? Look at this. Look, I ain't write the book. I only read what was in it. So there's no reason for none of y'all to be getting mad about none of this. Look at it. Judgment is rendered against such a government. Neither my lords nor my holy angels shall bless that government. Boy. Huh? Here y'all go. God bless America. And look, man, I don't really think y'all know what y'all talking about. I don't see it. Huh? You like, look, if the government is a selfish government against itself and against other governments, my judgment is rendered against such a government like that. Huh? No high-raised angels, no lords, no holy angels will bless that government. There will be no holy protection or none of that. So you should expect it to get worse. All right, it ain't like it's just in the streets of America. Nick Rose and packed up and moved to Israel and bombs drop over their head too. Nah, you're supposed to build your own society no matter where you at. The earth is your house. The earth is your playground. Judgment is rendered against such a government. Neither my lords nor my holy angels shall bless that government. Governments that practice affiliation coming together. See that? Governments that practice affiliation to bring about reciprocal brotherhoods between governments are on the right road toward the Father's everlasting kingdoms with an S. It ain't just one kingdom, y'all. It's countless of them. Man. Dang. Do not flatter yourself, old man, that these matters can escape the observation of your God. The affairs, legislation, laws, treaties, and all things that governments accomplish directly or indirectly, good or bad, are known and recorded in the heavens of the earth. And the leaders, kings, and councils shall sooner or later face them. And they shall judge their own fullness or shortness in serving Creator in righteousness and wisdom. Bag drop, boy. Did y'all hear that? And the leaders can't, man, I'm going to go back to right here. I'm going to read the whole 28 again. That was powerful, boy. Good night. That deal say, do not flatter yourself, old man, that these matters can escape the observation of your God. Huh? The affairs, legislations, laws, treaties, and all things that governments, all things that the United States accomplish directly or indirectly, good or bad, are known and recorded in the heavens of the earth. Boy, and the leaders, Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, and the leaders, kings and councils, shall sooner or later face them, and they shall judge their own fullness or shortness in serving Creator in righteousness and wisdom. Good night. If you're getting some understanding, y'all drop a 7,000 in the chat. You did. We still cooking. We still cooking. You know what I mean? Easy money. Easy money. Right you feel me? Nothing but love, family. Y'all already know what time it is. See y'all in the building. All right, we get some understanding. We get some understanding. Yeah, that whole Charlie Kirk thing been in the news. I'm like, man, look. Trip off dead out of credit. Like, look, man, all that's on the government. It ain't even on the people. The reason why the people are acting like that is because the government has made itself one thing and the people another thing. The government actually treats the people as if they're the government's slaves. See what I'm saying? So eventually, you know what I mean, you can back any dog into a corner, he gonna strike out. And That's what it is. People rise up. It's assassinations. It's anarchy. It's revolution. Why? Because the government is supposed, even though it's supposed to be as one with its people, the government is actually acting as a slave master, a tyrant, a dictator. Huh? And that's a divergence from the Creator's will. Yeah, the Creator ain't with none of that bondage, slavery, none of that. None of that. Chapter 35, Book of Judgment. Oh, I see understanding is being had. All praises. Let's read this word. Easy money. Easy money. You feel me? So this chapter 35. Make sure everything cool real quick, y'all. Show me all good. All right, chapter 35. So I got everything else up. Bang. Now let's get into this. Let's get into this and show God declares against the governments of man. You mean it's the government's fault? Man, you got us all out here arguing about what? What are you arguing about? What? What is this really about? Right there, bang. All right, yeah, 1 second. Got that out the way. All right, there I go right there. All right, let's get into this. Easy money. God said, whoever lives with the Creator is free from Creator. Whoever lives with Jehovah is free from Jehovah. These need no man's government. For they practice what? Righteousness, peace, love, industry. So they ain't no lazy jokers either. And wisdom with due regard to one another. Huh? In other words, if you roll with the Creator, you already doing what the Creator, you know what I mean? You already choosing the right path and dealing with the Creator and his creation. You don't need no man's government over you. We already practice righteousness, peace, love, industry, and wisdom. And we got due regard to one another. Actually love our brothers and sisters. See that? Look at this. Such is the Father's kingdom on earth. Huh? Listen up. Listen up. Such is the Father's kingdom on earth, in which there should be no laws made by man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Y'all not trying to hear that. That means Congress got to go home. That means the Senate got to go home. House of Representatives, all them got to go home. In which there should be no laws made by man, neither shall there be leaders nor rulers. Donald Trump, they'll sit down. See? We talking about building the Father's kingdom on earth, where it's a way it's ran and structured. And it ain't what you saying. Not what you saying. All right, look at this. The progress of man is toward this. The progress of governments of man should shape towards such a consummation. The time was when laws were required for all things, even to the manner of a man coming in and going out of a house, and to every occupation that man followed, with licenses, taxes, regulating them. Time of apprenticeship to a barber, a weaver, lawyer, preacher, physician, smith, and to all other trades and occupations with examinations and passports, diplomas, licenses, to practice within the king's dominions, with rates for fees and rights and privileges. But these laws and governments were for the past eras. They were righteous in the first place, for they shape man's judgment toward perfecting himself. But behold, a new time is in the world. As a result of the acquisition of knowledge, a new freedom has been born into the world. And it cries out on every side, throw open the doors to all trades and occupations. Behold, the multitude are sufficiently wise to judge for themselves as to whom they shall patronize. They throw open all the doors to the trades, occupations, trade school. Learning to work with your hands, you know what I mean? Throw that open because now we advancing. New time in the earth, new sheriff on block. Judgment is rendered against the laws and governments of man in all cases where they prevent the liberty and choice of man as to his vocation and knowledge. So if you up under any type of government that's holding back knowledge and and skill training to the people, then judgment is against the laws and the governments. Laws and the government. You think it ain't been laws passed here that can stop the progress of a certain people or certain groups of peoples? Yeah. Absolutely. You done heard of Jim Crow? You done heard of redlining? Judgment is rendered against the laws and governments of man in all cases where they prevent the liberty and choice of man as to his vocation and knowledge. Big homie. His vocation and knowledge. So notice that. So if it's a government, but what they are doing is holding back the people through education, lack of skill training, passing all types of laws like redlining and all types of Jim Crow and all that, creators against that. You see? Look at this, verse 8. It is not sufficient for you to say, behold, the public will be taken advantage of by ignorant pretenders. You have no right to say what the public will suffer and thus base a law on prospective damage. When the public have suffered and when they themselves demand protection by such laws, then such laws shall be made. To make such laws beforehand is to sin against the Creator. Good night, boy. Good night. Look at this. It was said of old, you should keep the Sabbath day holy. And it was defined what a man should not do on that day. Now we talking about, back in, especially up under Israel's government. And it was defined what a man should not do on that day. Look at it. Judgment is rendered against that law. What law? Malachi, the Sabbath. Judgment is rendered against that law. Nevertheless, I do not put aside the practice. So yeah, you got the liberty to observe the Shabbat how you want to. But the time is now come when man shall himself judge as to whether he will or will not keep any day sacred. It's all on you. And I'm going to hit y'all with something. It ain't an Israelite group in the world or in existence that observes the Sabbath the exact same way. They just had a big debate over it. Whether it's Friday to Saturday, or if it's based off the moon, or if it's Friday, Saturday morning to Sunday morning. So Israel been doing its own thing anyway, this whole time. You dig? So if it's a Shabbat law, but everybody does it different, you dig? Then how are you held under that when nobody does it the same way? But we all read the same book. You see? So it says right here, but the time has now come when man shall himself judge as to whether he will or will not keep any day sacred. It's on you. Moreover, from this time forward, man should not be held accountable as to whether he keeps or does not keep any day as a sacred day. Yet this accountability shall be upon all men. Since it's on you, you still accountable, right? Whether they fulfill in wisdom and righteousness to the utmost of their capacity. So it's like, look, it's on you. The onus is on you. The responsibility, the accountability is on you, whether you decide to keep any day holy. You dig? Just make sure whatever you doing, you live into your highest light. You with all your wisdom. Wrong, so you don't need nobody in that Israel to this day. If you ain't want to believe or take in what you just heard, it don't matter what congregation or camp you go to, everybody observe it differently. So that means Israel's doing its own thing. It ain't based off no concrete law. So that's why Owaspi come around and say, look, judgment is rendered against that, but the practice, you ain't got to put the practice aside. It's all on you if you're going to observe the Shabbat. You know what I mean? But you got freedom and liberty to do it in your own way. That's what people don't like. That's what people don't like. You know what I mean? So going into these governments and the laws that the governments pass. Right? Look at this. There was a law of circumcision, but I rendered judgment against that law also, for it has fulfilled its time. This law I put aside in practice, but I give permission to the adult to have himself circumcised according to his own judgment. Want to get circumcised? Go ahead. But that's another thing we do on our own. Like, it rarely does an Israelite in America have a son that's circumcised on day 8. That's supposed to be an 8th day circumcision, right? We be having sons and they be circumcising them before they get out the hospital, nigga, the next day or the day of birth. You know what I mean? So you got situations to where you doing the Sabbath the way you want to, you doing circumcision the way you want to. Y'all should be glad you ain't held accountable to none of it. Creative just saying it's on you. If you want to do it, go ahead. But you're not held up under no type of judgment. You know what I mean? Because it may be perceived that you did it not according to what somebody else doing. The Creator saying it's all on you. Just whatever you doing, fulfill it in righteousness. Live to your highest light. Be good in the situation. You know what I mean? Look at this. Look what it say right here. Judgment is also rendered against infant baptism. Y'all done seen that before growing up. Sprinkle the holy water on the baby. You're christening your child. Judgment is also rendered against infant baptism. And I put aside this law also, and I make it an abomination before Creator. Good night. Nevertheless, when a child has reached 14 years of age and it chooses of its own accord to be sprinkled with water, to conform to the rites and ceremonies, then that child shall be thus baptized in the name of the Creator, but not in the name of God, nor any Lord, Savior, or angel. You say, look, when that child get 14, if he want to go through the rites and ceremonies of a baptism, he can do that. But make it in the name of the Creator, though. Right? Keep the gods, lords, and saviors. Keep them with it. Not Jesus? Man, not Jesus, big homie. This deal say, this is wisdom, oh man, to have no law or government between man and wife. To have no law or government between man and wife. This is ignorance. This is ignorance to have a law between man and wife. Yet, because there are bad men and bad women who do marry, it has been found necessary to have a law between man and wife regarding their duties. But consider how wrong it is to have a law between a good man and a good wife regarding their duties. It is better for them to be thrown upon their own love and judgment. Yeah, get out these people mix. That's their business. You know what I mean? Look at it. Verse 21. I gave governments and laws to all peoples in the following manner. To the bad and evil-minded, rigid laws with many details. But to the wise and good, I come now as an emancipator, saying, go, and without laws and government, fulfill your destinies, according to your own judgment, so that you may be in honor and glory to the Creator. In Cosmon, present time, man shall no longer be driven in yoke and harness. He shall stand upright before Creator, practicing his highest light with rejoicing, being a free man, and a brother to his God. Good night, boy. Good night, boy. Look at this. I know this deal hitting like steel around here. Hitting like steel. Hitting like steel, baby. Look at this. Some of y'all may get mad at this one. I know. I know. Y'all might get mad at this one. You might get mad at it. But, trust me, we don't mean no harm. Look what it say. It say, behold, the Uzians. The Uzians are who you would call the world's people. People that just 100% in the flesh and ain't caring about nothing. Behold, the Uzians have a custom of eating bread and drinking wine. Sound familiar? Saying like the worshipers of Bygone God. Bygone God is a false god from like 9,000 years ago. It says of eating bread and drinking wine, saying like the worshipers of Bygone God of old. Eat of this, for it is my flesh, and drink of this, for it is my blood. Signifying that this which they do was commanded by me, God of heaven and earth. Y'all done heard eat my flesh and drink my blood before, right? See, we going into governments and we going into laws that governments have passed. Right? Some of this is in Torah. Or in Bible. Knows what it says right here. It says, eat this, for it is my flesh, and drink this, for it is my blood. Signifying that this, which they do, the eating the bread and the drinking of wine, body and blood, right, was commanded by me, God of heaven and earth. Judgment is rendered against this custom. What custom? The eating of bread and drinking of wine, symbolizing that it's the flesh of a man and the blood of a man. Judgment is rendered against this custom with what? Abhorrence. From now on, it should be known as what? Blasphemy against Creator. It's blasphemy for you to be eating some bread and drinking wine, saying it's symbolic for the flesh and blood of any man. And that this is what the Creator told you to do. That's as a matter of fact, it's abhorrence. You dig? And it's blasphemy. It's blasphemy. Look at this. Look at this. Your God is never, take a trip off this. Your God has never commanded man to eat flesh and blood, nor pretended that bread and wine were flesh and blood, nor commanded them to be eaten in remembrance of the flesh and blood of any man born of woman. Good night, boy. It say it's abhorrence. The custom is abhorrible, hateful. It's abhorrence. It's known as blasphemy. And then it say, yo, God ain't never commanded man to eat flesh and blood, nor pretend that bread and wine were flesh and blood, nor commanded them to be eaten in remembrance of the flesh and blood of any man born of woman. Was Jesus a man that came through the womb of his mama? Yeah, well, guess what? That custom predates Jesus by like 7,000 years. This is a custom or a rite and ceremony to eat my flesh and drink my blood. The flesh is symbolic for the bread. The blood is symbolic for the wine. That's a custom that they was doing 7,000 years before Jesus in honor of a false god. And this telling you, Creator ain't never told you do none of this, ever. From really eating flesh and blood to pretending it, you dig? Nor saying this be eaten in remembrance of any man born of a woman. It said it's abhorrible. It's abhorrence and blasphemy. If y'all understand that, drop a 4,000 in the chat, man. We still cooking. Still cooking. Government's a man. Government's a man. Wait. Oh, wait. I see 4,000. That deal say blasphemy. It did. The West Side Connect, that deal say blasphemy, abhorrence. They also have a custom of decorating and draping themselves in black crepe. What is that? A thin, lightweight, crinkled fabric. And characterizing the same as a sign of mourning for the dead. Oh, okay. Judgment is rendered against such a custom, but without prohibition. Jehovah, the Creator, creates a life, and Jehovah takes life away, for all things are his. Remember your Creator with wisdom, and neither in your dress nor habit shall you censor him for what has been, You dig? So putting on your sackcloth and ashes and, you know what I mean, your mourning garments and all that. He like, look, you know what I mean? I don't prohibit it, but look, move past that. Look at this. Neither curb the full sorrow of your heart and your soul because your brother or sister, son or daughter or father or mother has passed away. But remember, Jehovah is over all his works, and provides wisely for the living and the dead. No doubt. No doubt. Look at this. And so Jehovah has said, to man I gave an earthly body, so he could learn earthly things. But death I gave a man so he could rise to the inheritance of my heavenly kingdoms. Look at that. He appoints a time to all, some an hour, some a year, some 100 years. Everyone fulfills to result in wisdom and happiness and for the glory of the Almighty. All praises, glory, and honor, man. Look, and let that come for some of us. Well, all of us have lost loved ones. You know what I mean? That man, the Creator is truly marvelous, man. Truly, you dig? And knows what it says. It says right here that Jehovah said, I'm sorry, 31. But remember, Jehovah is over all his works and provides wisely for the living and the dead. Jehovah has said, the man I gave an earthly body so he could learn earthly things. That's why you're going through your earthly experience, right? But death I gave to man so he could rise to the inheritance of my heavenly kingdoms. The only way you get to the heavenly kingdoms is you got to pass through life and experience that. You dig? He appoints a time to all. Some an hour, some a year, some 100 years. Everyone fulfills to result in wisdom and happiness and for the glory of the Almighty. Man, this stuff right here is hitting like steel, man. What's really going on around these parts? What's really going on around these parts? I want to share one of our brother's videos right here. It's understanding vortexian energy dealing with creation. Shout out to our brother Selah Shalom. Short video real quick. Check this out.
John not dead, him not dead, him live on and on and on and on. Yo, John not dead, him not dead, him live on. In the heart of man, John not dead, him not dead, him live on and on and on and on. Yo, John not dead, him not dead, him live on.
Peace, peace. This your host, Selah Shalom. And this is a Cosmon Teachings in the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors from the Cosmon Bible of Waspy. And the topic of discussion today is going to be called the Cosmogony and Prophecy Series, Part 1, Understanding Vortexian Current, the First Cause of Creation. Now, this is a series that'll be explaining how the Creator created creation using Vortexian current as the foundation for all created things. Sun, moon, stars, and planets. Now, in the King James Bible, it states that God created the heavens and the earth, but without an explanation of how he created it. But here in Owaspy, I will be explaining exactly how the heavens and the earth were created, along with everything else in the universe in these series. Now, the first part is called Understanding Vortexian Current, being that the vortex is the foundation and the first cause of all created things, sun, moon, and stars, and planets. Now, the universe is made up of minerals. All minerals are expressed in three forms: gas, liquid, and solid. And all of creation is expressed in these three forms. All the minerals on the periodic table of elements are in a gas form. So iron, carbon, gold, nickel, copper, and any other physical mineral are expressed in these three forms: gas, liquid, and solid. Now, out of these three forms, which one came first? That would be gas. Now, ether is a gas, and gas is the first cause of creation. All things in creation start from a gas state, then become a liquid or solid, and then return to a gas state as proof of its origin. Water and fire are manufactured by gases: hydrogen, oxygen, and helium. So before there was light, fire, and water, the gases existed prior to their coming forth. So this is just an example to show how gas or ether is the first cause of anything created. Now, understanding that gas or ether is first cause, and all minerals are expressed in first cause, being gas. So this is the playing ground for creation. This is where it all starts. This is the so-called nothingness, the beginning, the gas state. Now, coming back to vortexian current. What is vortexian current? First, a vortex is nothing more than a whirlwind, despite the nature of the material, whether it is a whirlwind of air, water, sand, the formation is still the same. And these are the examples on Earth on a microcosmic level to show what happens on a macrocosmic level. So first, for a vortex to exist, it has to be given a rotary or revolution in the ether, being the gas state unseen, in order to be generated. And the person who gives this rotary or revolution to generate a vortex is the creator, Jehovah. Now, in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 1, verses 8 through 10, and verse 16, it gives a general breakdown of a vortex, as it states, verse 8, the greater diameter of the vortex is east and west, the lesser diameter north and south, with an inclination and oscillation relatively like the earth. Verse 9, the name of the force of the vortex is called vortexia. That is positive force, because it is arbitrary and exerts east and west, as in the case of a wheel turning on its axis. Its force will be at right angles with its axis, the extreme center of which will be no force. Verse 10, for which reason the north and south lines of the Earth's vortex is called the M vortexia, or negative force, for it is the subject of the other, as a whirlwind gathers up straw and dust, which travels toward the center of the whirlwind, and to the poles thereof. Even so do corporeal substances incline to approach the poles of the earth vortex, which may be proven by posing a magnetized needle. Verse 16, whereof it may be said, the force of the vortex is toward its own center, but turneth at the center and escape outward at the north pole, as one may draw a line from the east to the center of the earth, then in a right angle due north, which would be the current of the vortex, until the center were filled with a corporeal body, meaning a planetary body, after which the same power applieth and is all one power, although for convenience called positive and negative. So here this verse proves that a vortex has a positive and negative force. The positive force is exerted in an east and west direction, while the negative force is expressed in a north and south direction, being subjected to the positive force. So a vortex is generated by first being given a rotary or revolution, a spin, by the creator. And in the process of the spin, a sufficient amount of gases, minerals, from the outer realm of the vortex is gathered in and made subjected to the vortexian spin or current. Once the gases are subjected, or minerals, the vortex carries the gas in currents flowing in an east and west direction, descending downward south to the center of the vortex, where it becomes condensed. And it is at the condensing phase that the vortex begins to manifest warmth, heat, and eventually light in the condensed center of this vortex. And these are the general rules of a vortex prior to any planetary body, sun, moon, star, comets is made. The vortex has to exist first. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings and catch you on part 2 called The Nature of Comets and How They Are Made. Shalom.
John not dead, him not dead, him live on and on and on and on. Yo, John not dead, him not dead, him live on. In the heart of man, John not dead, him not dead, him live on and on and on and on. Yo, John not dead, him not dead. Jah not dead, him not dead, him live on and on and on and on. Yo, Jah not dead, him not dead, him live on. In the heart of man, Jah not dead, him not dead, him live on and on and on and on. Yo, Jah not dead, him not dead, him live on.
Peace, peace. This your host, Selah Shalom, and this is the Cosmon Teachings in the Words of Jehovah and His Angel Ambassadors from the Cosmon Bible of Waspy. And the topic of discussion today is the Cosmogony and Prophecy Series Part 3, how our solar system was created based off of Vortexian current. As I've been saying, the vortex is responsible for all created things, sun, planets, moons, stars, and comets. So when we refer to the creation of the sun, it is the vortex unseen that it is supported by. By the rotation of the planets around the sun proves its vortexian current, from east to west and west to east, the positive force of vortexia. The sun is subjected to the same rules for its growth and process. As I stated before, the first manifested body a vortex create is a comet, despite the size of the comet. If the comet has a strong vortex to support it, it will continue to grow until it has an orbit of its own. And when attained an orbit of its own, it is a sun, basically a ball of fire, prior to becoming a planet. So even our sun is still growing and is in the process of becoming a planet. And by that time, the sun becoming a planet, it will be subjected to another sun that is in the first age as being a globe of fire, while our one sun will be a planet to that sun or solar system, because all corporeal bodies go through 4 ages: an age of creation, an age of inhabitation, an age of barrenness, and the age of dissolution, as described in the book of Jehovah, chapter 4, verse 15 through 17, where it states, first, as vapor, the vortex carries it forth, and as it condenses, its friction engenders heat, and it is molten, becoming as a globe of fire in heaven. So at this phase, it is a sun, and it is here at this point that our sun is at, as a globe of fire in heaven, or a ball of fire in heaven. Now, then it takes its place as a newborn world, and I set it in the orbit prepared for it. Now, the same rules apply to the sun. The sun will eventually reach a point where it will become a planetary body, being subjected to these 4 ages. Now, verse 16. In the next age, I bring it into Simu, for it is ripe for the bringing forth of living creatures, and I bestow the vegetable and animal kingdoms. Verse 17. Next, it enters Hutu, for it is past the age of begetting, even as the living who are in dauntage. Next, it enters Adu, and nothing can generate upon it. Then cometh Uz, and it is spirited away into the unseen realm. Thus create I, and thus dissipate planets, suns, moons, and stars. So here this verse shows how the sun is subjected to these 4 ages. So by understanding this concept, one can observe any corporeal body and determine what age it is in. The sun being in the first age out of the 4 ages. We on earth are in the second age, being the inhabitable time for the living on earth. And this is how you can begin to understand these ages. Now, before any planetary body existed, the sun existed first and its vortex. Each planetary body came after the sun, not before it. So in the Bible, where it starts off with God created the heavens and the earth, this is scientifically incorrect, because the sun's vortex would have to be created first in order to support the heavens and the earth. Now, another thing in the creation story in the Bible that is off is that the sun was created on the 4th day. But on the 3rd day, it states God created all kinds of plants and fruit trees. This is totally inaccurate, because plants and fruit trees need sunlight to even exist. So how can you have plants and trees growing before the sun was created? This is just to show how the creation story in the Bible is false. Now, the solar system is described as the great serpent, as stated in the book of Safa. And the word Safa in Hebrew means language or tongue. Verse 58, Jehovah said, the sun I made as the head of a serpent, and his felix made I as the body of a serpent. Thus made I the great corporeal serpent. To him I gave a circuit to travel in, and I numbered his time. which is 4,700,000 years for the sun coil or orbit. So here it describes the sun as the head and the planets as the body. And we know that the sun travels in a north and south direction, which is the same motion of a serpent. And it also gives the orbit of the sun as being 4,700,000 years to make one orbit. So this is the cosmic symbol. This is the symbol of the solar system being described as a serpent based off its motion off the Vortexian currents. Now, the sun being the head of our solar system will have the greatest Vortexian current over all planetary bodies existing inside it, as stated in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 1, verse 33, where it states, the Earth's vortex is a sub-vortex existing within the sun's vortex. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and so on are corporeal worlds, and each and all of them within sub-vortices. And the combination of all these vortices within the sun's vortex are known by the names Great Serpent or Solar Felix, for which reason the sun's vortex was called the Master by the ancient prophets. So here, this verse describes how the solar system is subjected to a vortex, and the sun's vortex are responsible for creating smaller vortices within her, becoming planetary bodies. So once the vortex of the sun created the sun, smaller vortices within the sun's vortex began to create planetary bodies, and this can be easily proven by the rotation of the planet around the vortex of the sun. So our solar system is based, once again, off of Vortexian current. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings and catch you on part 4 called The Beginning of Our Heavens and Earth. Shalom.
Jah not dead, him not dead.
Shout out to our brother Selah Shalom, putting in that pain 15, 20 years ago. And look, that evidence is still not irrelevant, it's still vital. Get me on that one. The information is still vital and very important to this very hour because can't nobody debunk it. There ain't nobody came with a better cosmogony. You know what I mean? And cosmogony is the branch of science that deals with the creation of our universe, in particular, our solar system, or creation of it. You feel me? It ain't another one out there that's going to give you the detail and all that. So look, to end it off, we're going to go to this Judgment chapter 32. Dig, and we're going to get some more realities of the spirit world. Remember the title, Political Assassinations and the Governments of Man, dealing with old Charlie Kirk. You know, and just the whole behavior of any subjects of any government is based on how the so-called government is treating the people. Or is the government becoming one with the people, or is the government becoming a tyrant over the people? That determines if it's anarchy, revolution, and assassination. And the creators say they ain't even on the people, that's on the government. Dang. Real spill. Real spill. All right, so we're going to go to Judgment 32 and 12. If y'all got some understanding about the Vortexian mathematics and the Vortexian energy, you know what I mean, from my brother Selah Shalom, y'all drop a 5,000 in the chat, man. That's very important to understand. A lot of people got their own theories and, you know, I seen a flat earth model the other day made out of some damn Play-Doh. Play-Doh. You dig? And it is like, come on, man. Y'all keep talking all this CGI stuff, and then we show you, you know what I mean? We show you some things before there was even a CGI. You know what I mean? And how that right there, ooh, we got a problem here. We got a problem here. We got drawings back in the 1800s that showing exactly what CGI showing. This was before CGI. You know what I mean? Easy money, man. So if y'all really want to know what's going on, that the workings of the solar system and the heavens and all that, man, get into that cosmogony and prophecy on Waspy, man. Get into it. You know what I mean? And I would say try to debunk it. Try to debunk it. Come with your science experiments and all that. And get your mind blown. You feel me? Yeah, man. Dude had a damn flat earth model made out of some Play-Doh, y'all. Play-Doh. Stuff we used to play when we were short leggers back in the day. Good night. Now look at this right here. I'm going to start at verse 12. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples in the world who engage in war, thus bringing these afflictions upon the angels of heaven. So Israel, United States, you know, a lot of you so-called politicians are pro-Israel or anti-Palestine or pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, regardless of the fact they're both are unaliving. Both sides are unaliving each other. Nah? And then America ain't no better. It will give Israel so many billions of dollars every year along with Ukraine. That's a whole nother war going on between Ukraine and Russia. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples in the world who engage in war, thus bringing these afflictions upon the angels of heaven. So you look at it like it's some righteous to have all these weapons of death. No, look at this. Judgment is rendered against every nation and all people in the world who carry on war or who are accessory to war, in which any man created alive by Jehovah is slain in defense of any king or other ruler, or in defense of any country or government in the world. See that? And look, y'all, they got to do with you killing. They got to do with everybody from the nerd that killed Charlie Kirk, you dig, down to the drone pilot that's dropping hellfire missiles and parking it on Jihadi John's scalp. Don't matter. You out here killing folks. The same thing apply to Lil Pookie and them out in the streets. Huh? In which any man created alive by Jehovah is slain, killed, in defense of any king or other ruler, or in defense of any country or government in the world. And whether any war is offensive or defensive. Look at that. My judgment is against its aiders and abettors, those profiting off of it, and against the kings and queens or other rulers who are parties to war, willingly, knowingly, or otherwise. The credit ain't got nothing to do with none of this war and carnage that's going on in Gaza, in the streets of America. You know what I mean? It wasn't the creator that sent little Tyler Robinson to delete Charlie Kirk. No, these are all false gods that all of y'all are claiming is the God or the supreme being. You dig? And you ain't even, you know what I mean, consider the fact that, no, the creator ain't sending none of us to go spill blood nowhere. That deal say it's aid. My judgment is against its aiders, those assisting, abettors, those who are profiting off of it, against the kings and the queens or other rulers. Donald Trump, that includes you too. Vladimir Putin, that includes you too. Kim Jong-il, mentally ill, that includes you too. Look at this. Ayatollah Khomeini over there in Iran, Persia, this includes you too. My judgment is against his aiders and abettors, and against the kings and queens or other rulers who are parties to war, willingly, knowingly, or otherwise. Good night, boy. Good night, boy. Shit, Charlie Kirk was over there proud that Israel was committing genocide, jihad against the Palestinians. And y'all go, oh, he a good Jesus. Charlie loved Jesus. You got him standing next to white Jesus in heaven. Have y'all been looking at the AI images they got of Charlie Kirk and Jeebus and George Floyd? And man, look at it. And I judge him guilty also, who is General Yohana. Or, General Patton, Oliver North. And I judge him guilty also, who is General, Commodore, Captain, Sergeant, or Private that engages in war or takes part in it, aiding, abetting, or otherwise, in which any man created alive by Jehovah is slain or caused to suffer death. Huh? So, y'all, even if you ain't pulled a trigger, if you assisting in war in any type of way, if you gambling and profiting off war in any type of way, nobody died behind your assistance or your profiting off of it, you guilty too. Guilty too. And yet, aside from angels who are in chaos, there are hundreds of millions who are in declension. Meaning they didn't flunk. They not graduating. You got millions, hundreds of millions of spirits that are fallen spirits, that are not progressing, that are falling, declining. There are hundreds of millions who are in declension instead of resurrection. Such angels are those who, in mortal life, were whipped and tortured in prisons, or perhaps were hanged or otherwise put to death. The way you did a lot of our forefathers, you produced a lot of angry, vindictive spirits. You birthed that into the spirit world. And that's all they know. That's all some of them know right now is that get back. These angels will do what? These angels take delight in evil instead of good. Dang. Sometimes they go about singly, and sometimes in gangs of hundreds and even thousands. In the past, the false gods used such angels, these angels who are in declension, who are angry, move around in gangs and all that. In the past, the false gods used such angels to fulfill curses on mortals. And to carry poison in the air and inoculate mortals with foul diseases. So you got the false gods using certain declining spirits or angels to what? Spread viruses. Poisons in the air, airborne viruses. COVID. And inoculate mortals with foul disease. Behold, in this day, my angels have shown you that they can bring flowers and ponderous bodies. Similarly, the false gods with their trained warrior angels who delighted in evil could cast mortals in death by poisons and suffocation. A lot of these viruses, y'all, being peddled by false gods and the angels that roll with them who are on the declension, the decline. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples who use prisons as places for whipping and torturing prisoners, and against all nations and peoples who put to death by hanging, shooting, or in any way whatsoever any prisoner or any person whom Jehovah created alive. You see, judgment is against not only this nation, every nation, man. There ain't another nation in this earth that got more people locked up per capita than the United States. Judgment is rendered against all nations and people who use prisons as places for whipping and torturing prisoners. You can't say that ain't this. And against all nations, peoples who put to death by hanging, shooting, or any way whatsoever. The death penalty and all that. Yeah. Judgment is against all that. Judgment is rendered against the judge and the jury. Come do your civic duty, jury duty. Judgment is rendered against the judge and jury who condemn to death any man. And against the lawmakers who make or have left in force a law authorizing the death as a penalty against any person that Jehovah created alive. And against any sheriff or executioner who puts to death willingly or knowingly any person Jehovah created alive. Y'all see, everybody's responsible for it. From the captain to the commodore to the lawmaker to the judge to the juror to the cat who made the gun, the company that manufactured it, the cat who sold it to you on the streets, down to the cat who pulled the trigger. everybody that's responsible for that gun being in existence and being finally used to kill someone is responsible for that death. How many guns you done passed off in your life and somebody went and put some work in with it? Man, look, I don't really think people know how deep this go. The lawmakers, so you talking about the Senate, the Congress, the House of Representatives, you talking about laws being made and all that, right? Well, if you were in on drafting a bill that got to do with putting anybody to death, you're just as responsible as the person who administered that lethal injection that killed him. No, I didn't do it. I just made that. I was in on the law. I voted that passed the law. Well, guess what? You was voting on the death of somebody that Jehovah created alive. So you responsible for that death too. Nobody's getting away with none of it. You know what I mean? The person who made it, the person who reproduced it, the person who sold it, and the person who used it. Everybody that's responsible for that gun or that weapon of death being in existence is responsible for that, just that one death. And there's millions of people that die behind violence, behind weapons of death daily. Can you imagine the people that's putting these switches on these guns and turning them into automatics and all that? I mean, people have been killed, been hit with a switch. Well, the cat who made the gun, the cat who reproduced it, the cat who sold it, and even the cat who modified it and put the switch on it, down to the cat who used it to kill. Everybody in that line is responsible for that death. Dang, that's crazy, man. Yeah, death penalty. So from the judge to the jury to the lawmakers, hell, even if you got out and left that deal in force, you know what I mean? You still responsible. And this is the bondage I put upon all those who do not obey my judgments and conform to them. They shall not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remains. You an advocate for war, Charlie Kirk? An advocate for war, and see what if you don't want Israel, if you don't want to feel the wrath of Israel, you shouldn't have did this to him. Like, bro, you saying that you down with what's happening. They should not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remains upon the earth. Even though their bondage is 100 years or 1,000 years, yet this my judgment against them shall not be put aside. Neither shall any king, queen, nor any other ruler in the entire world impress as a soldier any man who is unwilling to engage in war, and whoever does not obey this my judgment shall not rise above the first resurrection in heaven while war remains on the earth. Ain't none of these world rulers going anywhere once they cross over. They about to be wandering spirits, wandering the earth. Donald Trump days are numbered. Shit, he down there 90 years old anyway. Sleepy Joe Biden. Your days are numbered, man. Look at this. I say they don't get past it. They wandering spirits on this earth, man. Nor will I any more consider the prayers of any king, queen, or any ruler, or any nation, or people anywhere in the world who engage in war. You see that? You hear me, Craig? Ain't hearing the prayers of Donald Trump, Vladimir Ben Putin, Kim Jong-il, Ayatollah Khomeini, whoever the world rulers and world leaders may be. Craig ain't hearing none of them prayers. Nor will I consider the prayers of any king, queen, or any other ruler, or any nation or people anywhere in the world who engage in war of offensive or defensive, who aid or abet war in any way whatsoever, if you profited off of it. If you assist him, pass me the strap, you passed it to him. Like Charleston White passed his homie the strap that killed the white man all them years ago, then got up there and testified on it. No, Charleston, you still responsible for the death of this so-called white man that your friend shot because y'all was out there stealing starter jackets back in the 90s. You passed him the strap and told him to go handle your business. You see that? But I will abandon all such people, and my Lord shall abandon them, and my holy angels shall abandon them. So you see the dark reality of where America is at. Not just America, all the nations in the earth, man. You understand? Like the heavenly protection has been removed. And that's why you're seeing all types of behavior. Y'all get the hell out the way, man. You understand? Like, we supposed to be getting together and bringing our resources together and creating a whole society outside of this. You dig? And then we can come in the ooze and grab people up out of it because we got somewhere you can go. Come on. I got work for you. We got shelter, food, all type of stuff. You just gonna have to roll your sleeves up and work a little taste, but hey, we got you. You know what I mean? And they shall be left as a prey to their own harvest of evil spirits. Their own harvest. Because these are the seeds you planted. So now you got to reap that. Huh? And to all manner of drudges, demons. And they shall be afflicted with assassinations. Uh-oh. What just happened? What just happened? And y'all, that's because the heavenly protection has been withdrawn from this place. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is just one example. That this place is overran by evil spirits and drudges. That this place has passed the death penalty and all types of laws on record that have to do with unaliving anybody the Creator made alive. He said, oh, okay, that's how you getting down? You prisons, you whipping, you torturing people and all that? Hey, I'm calling my lords and angels away from this place. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to have to eat that. You're going to have to eat all them evil spirits that you planted. Yeah. But they said the chickens have come home to roost. And they shall be afflicted with assassinations. There it is again. Intriguers and the spoilers, and with anarchy, riots, and destruction. Boy, so waspy is cold. For they shall be made to understand that whomever Jehovah created alive is sacred upon the earth. And that whoever does not heed these my judgments sins against the Almighty. He said, whoever is breathing oxygen is sacred, man. Behold, it is not sufficient apology for them to say, oh, an evil king will come upon my country and possess it. I say to you, old man, look at this. All countries are Jehovah's. Ooh. No, you ain't got to run nowhere to build his kingdom. You go hurry up and get out of America and go where? The land of Canaan, Israel. They getting bombed too. You don't see the genocide that's happening with the Palestinians. All country are Jehovah's. Be his servant for peace and righteousness, having faith in him. Behold, your God has come to put away old things and to give you the kingdoms of the Creator as they are in his exalted heavens. Heed the judgments of your God. You cannot stop the hand of the Almighty. If you got some understanding today, y'all drop a 20,000 in the chat, man. Much love, light, and balance to everybody. Y'all know how we rock. Y'all know how we rock, and y'all know how we do. You know what I mean? Yeah, he told she loved me. Yeah, he told all day. Yeah, but he passed him the strap, and dude's still locked up. I'm glad everybody got some understanding. I pray for you, brother. I'm about to be doing a little traveling. I want to come on today. That's what I've been doing the past week and a half. Been moving around. Some things done. I'm about to go hop a flight, a couple hours. Yeah, so y'all pray for your brother. You know what I mean? Traveling mercies, all that good stuff. And the Creator's truth marvelous. You know what I mean? And y'all know CGG still cooking. We're not playing with nobody about that. But the level of clarity and understanding that's coming out, man, is just, I don't even think I ain't even no thinking. I know you can't compare it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's just what it is. Shout out to everybody that came through. Y'all already know. It's your little brother. Malaki Macabee, Megaton Light Bomb. Shout out to the chat. All praise to the Almighty, God maker, making us sun, moon, and stars, always was, is, and ever shall be. The mighty and great spirit, mighty and great I am, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. Excellent day to get outside and do something good for somebody, y'all. You know what I mean? With all your wisdom and strength. You understand? That's what we're supposed to do. Love your neighbor as yourself. All right? Should nobody be celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, but you shouldn't be crying either. You know what I mean? That man was a complete enemy of you. Yeah. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? But don't be out here celebrating it either. You don't want to leave yourself open to all types of grudges and demons. That's what happens when you curse the dead. You know what I mean? So we got some understanding today. I'm glad everybody got some understanding. Once again, all praise to the Creator. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. Yeah. We love y'all too. You dig? I can get up out of here, a little taste. And I might be coming to a city near you, so you feel me? Might be C-Live might be seeing in a couple weeks, brother. Lovely Queen, Bezel, all y'all. Might be seeing you in a few weeks, man. What it look like. Y'all know I'm in the building, so you know we got a link. Shout out to Cosmon Kruger in the building. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my brothers in them channels, man. Cosmon Cal TV. Cal just was on the live earlier today. You know what I mean? Brothers high level. C-Live Shalom TV. Make sure y'all go like, subscribe, share. Hit that playlist. You know what I mean? My brother Daryl Cosmon with Daryl at on. Daryl Cosmon. I seen it earlier. Yeah, Daryl Cosmon. Y'all want to like, subscribe, share with him too. You know what I mean? It's a gang of us out here, man. We just out here doing that work and getting it done more abundant. Shout out to my brother Prince Judah Vaughn. Like, subscribe, share. I see the big homies in here too, Nehemiah. Y'all like, subscribe, share. Then you put a lot of content up on this channel. You know, we in the building, man. You dig? And we even more powerful as a, you know what I mean? Even more powerful as a unit. And that's what it's about. It ain't this ain't about no individual. Nothing. It ain't. You know what I mean? Like, hey, your whole squad looking broke, nigga. Fix your team. It's about us. You know what I mean? For love and light, man. I'm about to get up out of here. I'll shoot a message out when I land. Touchdown, little taste. Big. Until the next time. Big. All praise to the Creator, maker of suns, moons, and stars. It's your little brother. Till the next time. Love y'all.